Why do the heaviest thoughts arrive at night? Some people say it's because the world finally becomes quiet. Others think it's just stress catching up. But the truth is far stranger and far more human. And if you've ever found yourself lying awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, replaying the same memories and fears on a loop, you're about to understand something that might change the way you see those moments forever. It usually starts the same way. The lights go off, the room gets still, and suddenly your own mind feels louder than any noise outside. It's almost like someone presses play on everything you avoided during the day. The embarrassing thing you said years ago, the fear of the future, the sense that you're falling behind, even when no one is actually keeping score. People think they're alone in this. They think something is wrong with them. But the mind behaves this way for a reason. During the day, your brain is in survival mode. It filters, suppresses, and numbs. There are tasks, conversations, notifications, responsibilities, things that distract you from yourself. But at night, the brain switches modes. The part responsible for logic and decision-making begins to power down, while the emotional centers remain fully awake. You become more open, more vulnerable, more unprotected from your own truth. That's why a tiny worry can feel like a disaster after midnight. That's why memories hit harder. That's why emotions feel heavier. Night removes the armor. But here's the twist most people never hear. Those heavy thoughts at night aren't actually trying to hurt you. They're trying to speak to you. They are the pieces of your mind you mute every time you say later, "I don't have time. I'll deal with it eventually." Night simply removes the excuses. It forces honesty. And honesty, in its rawest form, can feel terrifying. There's also another hidden mechanic at play. At night, your brain tries to process unfinished stories, moments where you didn't get closure, conversations you replay because the real ones didn't go the way you hope, fears born from uncertainty rather than reality. The brain hates open loops, so it tries to close them, even if it means dragging you through emotional quicksand to do it. That's why you suddenly remember someone who hurt you years ago. That's why you imagine worst-case scenarios. That's why your inner critic wakes up exactly when you want silence. It's not punishment. It's unfinished business. But there's a deeper reason the mind chooses night for this emotional reckoning. In darkness, everything feels bigger. When you can't see the world around you, the brain fills the emptiness with its own stories. It amplifies small fears until they feel enormous. It takes quietness and turns it into a stage for overthinking. Human psychology evolved this way to keep us safe. Our ancestors needed hyper-awareness at night to survive. Today, that instinct remains, even though the threats are no longer wolves or darkness, but deadlines, loneliness, and self-doubt. Your mind is acting out of ancient fear on modern problems. And yet the most haunting part is this: the thoughts that come at night are often the ones that matter the most. They're the ones pointing directly to the areas of your life you've been avoiding, relationships that drain you, decisions you should have made long ago, truths you pretend not to see in daylight. Night doesn't make you weak. It makes you aware. The heaviness you feel is often just clarity in disguise. But here's where the real hook lies, the part that flips the whole perspective. The mind chooses nighttime not because it wants you to suffer, but because it finally feels safe enough to show you what hurts. Darkness becomes a confession booth. Silence becomes a mirror. Every thought you wish you could escape is actually a guide, a signal, a direction toward something unresolved. And the reason it feels painful is because growth often begins with discomfort. So the next time those heavy thoughts rise up in the quiet hours, don't think of them as enemies. Think of them as messengers. They come not when you are weakest, but when you are finally still enough to listen. The night doesn't break you. It reveals you. And sometimes, the things that keep you awake are the very things that will set you free once you stop running from them.